A simple Google image search of digital detox has given me all of these different pictures to look at. Disconnect to reconnect. It's time for a digital detox. Offline, not away. Let's see what else. Oh, we believe in taking the time to look up. All right, so you get the idea here. Device-free zone, digital detox. I don't know, maybe the news is a little bit too strong of imagery. But you get the idea. If you do the same search, you'll have the same images. So this screencast is meant to walk you through your second essay in College Comp 2. It's called the Digital Sabbath or the Digital Detox. I was taught that it was called a digital Sabbath. I believe that this phrase maybe is a little more loaded than some people prefer it to be. I guess, not one of those people. If that phrase, with its sort of underlying religious sort of connotations bothers you, feel free to refer to it as a digital detox. But I like Sabbath. That's what I was taught. You always prefer things to be the way they were when you learned them, right? I mean, that's, kind of the burden of getting older. It also is why people say that, well, back in my day, music was much better. You're going to say that soon. You're too young for it now, but trust me, it's coming. The Digital Sabbath essay is our second essay of the semester. And let me go big here for a little bit because I'm just going to talk. So am I too dark for this one? I'm going to go shut my blinds. There, I shut my blinds. The digital detox is, the digital Sabbath assignment is, well, let's contextualize it first. There's what you are still doing as of this recording, but by the time you're watching this, probably what you have done for the first essay, the observation essay. And as I say, you've gone out into the field and you've done observations in society, culture, whatever you want to call it, and you've tried to make sense of technology use out in the world to some extent, in an external sense. So the digital Sabbath assignment, digital detox, whatever we're going to call it, that this assignment that we're working on now is meant to take that investigating lens, that almost like the recording instrument that is your, it was your notebook, right? A lot of you took pictures. You're going to take all that sort of naturalistic inquiry. You're going to take those instruments and you're going to point them, instead of out at the world, you're going to point them at yourself for this assignment, for this digital detox essay. So I've been assigning this for a while. This assignment, people tend to have reactions to it, I will say. You will do a bit of reflection on it towards the end of the essay itself, which you don't have to worry about yet. But I'd say I get a nice mix of this was really great and this was the opposite of really great. And so that's one of those ways I can tell that it's a pretty good assignment. So my wife does something similar with her master's students. This is the sort of assignment that will, it's sort of evergreen. I think it can work across disciplines. Since our theme in College Comp 2 is, digital technology use, personal device use, it's a nice way to, like I say, make yourself the subject of your essay in a way that is also, sociological in nature. It's participatory investigations. It's being a part of your own story, which I kind of find attractive. So brass tacks. Let's get down to the nuts and bolts here. So a couple of steps here. You're going to evaluate the role that technology plays in your everyday life. Yes. You are going to first plan your digital Sabbath. You're also going to take an inventory of your own technology use with some help. So we need a sort of a pre, a during, and a post. And so the pre is going to be this stuff. Is going to be figuring out exactly what role technology plays in your life, as of today, as of right now. And then you will unplug from that technology for a 24-hour period. Ooh, typo. 24-hour period of unplugging from technology. Okay, so hold on. Let me get big again. I'm not asking you to not do your job at work. I'm not asking you to, put yourself in any sort of life danger. I get some very dramatic emails sometimes when I assign this. I'm not asking you to do anything that would radically alter the course of your life. I'm asking you to remove yourself from maybe the more, entertaining aspects of technology, not anything that's going to get you fired or, cost you some sort of essential part of your livelihood, all right? But I would like you to unplug as much as you are humanly able, okay? But this is sort of choose your own adventure. So, no cell phone, no tablet, personal devices of any sort. And that can include, if you have like a Nintendo Switch. Don't use your computer except for time-sensitive school matters, business matters, work matters, okay? No lazy, just internet browsing, no streaming. Maybe I'll put that on. No, don't browse internet or stream content. Don't turn on your television. And commit yourself to the spirit of the assignment. That's really what I'm looking for, is that you will take a plunge here and give this assignment a shot. And then you will sort of, the essay itself will be sort of reporting out. So I hope you're starting to see the differences between College Comp and College Comp 2, in that, for as much writing as you do in this class, you're also doing more, quote unquote, research. You're conducting the research. You're doing primary research. So let's see. I'm not going to make you buy the book, The Distraction Addiction, but that's really where a lot of these main ideas sort of come from. You can click through a lot of it just by going to the Amazon link that's right here. You can also go to your library and see if it's available to check out. Since you all live in basically the same town, I'd like to see the race to the one copy I'm sure Maslin has. It's also called, like I say, an analog Sunday or a digital detox. So what I want is for this assignment to sound interesting and maybe a little scary. Okay, so you need to take a break. I'm going to go on to the next phase, a little more nuts and bolts here. As always, you're welcome to pause these screencasts and digest them in portions that you find amenable. I'm working on a presentation. Well, my wife and I are working on a presentation for a conference in a couple of weeks, and we are doing it on screencast, since we both have to make so many screencasts as part of our professional lives. So maybe we'll make a screencast about that too. Anywho, your digital Sabbath project must have a few key elements to it. So now I'm gonna talk about each of those in turn. First one is, I'm too fast, a tech diary. Okay, and this is taking the form of an invention journal. So I'm gonna get a little bigger here. So this will count as invention journal 3. Hopefully you're getting a sense that like a lot of these invention journals are meant to be sort of, what am I looking to say here? They're like raw data. You're sharing like a lot of your raw data findings with me. Okay, so what you'll do for the tech diary is you'll chart your technology use for a day. You can do it midnight to midnight, whatever, a 24-hour period. Okay. And if this all sounds like a terrible idea, we'll talk here in a little bit. So there's a link here, a video about how often are you really using it, and so that's basically what I'm trying to elicit out of you. It's an interesting video. Basically, ask people like, how many times do you think you pull your phone out of your pocket, and then they actually track that data, and then it's a little, it's surprising in kind of both directions. I check it way too much, or I don't check it nearly as much as I thought. So let's see. Rescue Time is great for computer use, and Moment is a really great app that tracks your phone or tablet use. And anything else that you do, anytime you turn on the TV, that's just going to have to be on you to say, oh, well, it's, it's 10:22. I'm turning my TV on. Oh, I turned the TV off at 10:44. So there's 22 minutes of television use, that sort of thing. Same with, I guess most of us stream our content, but if you have an iPod, little things that aren't really as connected to, that you can't connect to this Moment app, you have to track in a more analog way, just jotting down, on a notebook or keeping a spreadsheet going or something. So time of day, duration of use, type of tech used, purpose of the use, and which category. So professional, academic, personal, academic, professional, or other. And so this other can be a pretty wide-ranging one, but personal is usually when you think of like binging shows on Netflix or something, it's for personal use. Okay, you also have to tally and total. You have to tally and total your findings, and if you don't do that, this assignment gets a 0, because I need to see the total numbers. And please don't go big for this one too. When you do tally your numbers, don't give me like the total number of minutes. Don't make me divide by 12. Give me hours, minutes, and seconds if you like. Okay, seconds are kind of optional, but go to the trouble of doing that math for me. It just really kind of slows down my grading when I have to figure out how many minutes are 282, or how many hours they are. It's pretty annoying. Okay, in terms of how to share these findings, I really suggest Infogram for one of these ways, because it's a really good reporting out. One of our own did this in her invention journal with Infogram, and this is just a very fun to read sort of way to present your data. Okay, so I don't know, this is the part that I like down here, where you can add sort of clip arty type elements to your findings. And then also you can do tallies pretty easily that way as well. So my strong suggestion would be, and thank you, you know who you are who did that, thank you. Get out of your comfort zone. If you haven't tried Infogram, I would say go for Infogram if you're at all able, but you will report out with something, okay? You know, in some way. You can do a traditional like table in a Google Doc. At the end of the day, I'm not going to care too much. All right, digital Sabbath plan as a discussion post. That discussion post will largely kind of speak for itself, but what will be your level of unplugging? What day are you doing it? Will you allow yourself access to any tech? What are going to be your rules for, how you're going to punish yourself if you break your rules? That sort of thing. How committed to it are you? It's your basic boilerplate discussion post that, frankly, I'm required to assign. Let's see. Then you also keep a digital Sabbath log, okay, which will be your IJ4. This one will probably have to be, I keep it open-ended, but you know, before and after your digital Sabbath, and then during your digital Sabbath, you'll have to keep a paper and pencil because I don't want you on your computer. So share what you did, thought, and felt. Okay, there's plenty of examples here, but you know, does it sound familiar? Did, thought, and felt. Those are those same sort of parameters that you were encouraged to take with you into your observation sites. So what was going through your mind, what was sort of going through your heart, what were you thinking about, what did you do, what took up your time. Just going to make the essay that much easier to write if you have a pretty reliable document that or artifact that represents how you spent your time leading up to your digital Sabbath. Like, what was the last device that you used, right? Before you unplugged, and what was the first thing you checked? What was the first app you went on when you got your phone back out after your digital Sabbath? Those sorts of details, not only do they make for good storytelling, but they also can help you buttress your argument, and help you sort of couch your argument in reliable data. And we all like to think we'd remember things pretty accurately, but we don't always. Okay, so that's what this one is for, your digital Sabbath log. Okay, we'll talk more about the essay once you've completed your digital Sabbath, but as usual, I don't want the story of your digital Sabbath, I'll say this a couple of times, but I really don't want a point A, point B, point C sort of essay where it's like, oh, I woke up and I remembered I couldn't use my phone, so I couldn't listen to Pandora while I brushed my teeth. Like, every essay kind of starts in the morning. So I'm hoping that you'll create some context about kind of the person you were, and kind of like with the observation essay, what you thought you knew about yourself, and then you do the digital Sabbath, and then you report out to what you actually learned about yourself. That sort of pre, during, and post, that's really what I'm looking for. It's not rigidly scientific, it's, I guess, rigidly sort of sociological. It's naturalistic in its goals as well, which is not something that we get to talk too much about outside of classes like these. Okay, oh, works cited page. How about references, Steve? I thought I revised this sheet. I did not. All right. And then, of course, you're going to integrate quotes from your source. You have to, I'm sorry to mention that. You have to use at least one outside source. And the more the better. If you find some interesting things, like down here, what broader social forces or events, I'll talk about this again later on, but sort of some of the things that you find in your observation and in your digital Sabbath will or at least you'll have the opportunity to explore those things much more in depth during the research essay, which is our big project that comes up after the digital Sabbath, not to look too far in front of that. So, the essay itself needs to be at least 3 pages. You guys will all sail past that, at least the better of you will. No problem. And then, again, I'll talk more about the essay itself once you conduct the digital Sabbath. So, all right, let's talk about, I don't want to do this. This is too scary. I'm not feeling brave, blah, blah, blah. You can have someone else take your digital Sabbath for you. But trust me when I say I make this assignment much more difficult than just doing it yourself. So if you want to do it, I will very rigidly expect you to record all the interviews and to transcribe all the interviews. So every word that goes in between you and the person that is taking the digital Sabbath for you, you'll have to type out for me. Okay. You also have to massage those interviews into a narrative that isn't in that person's own words. I mean it to be much harder. So if you want to do this other option, we can talk, but for the most part, I want you to enjoy this assignment. I want this to be something that you can look back on and say, well, yeah, I did it. Trust me, you can do it, and you'll be amazed what you'll find out about yourself if you really do commit yourself and see what the possibilities are in a digital Sabbath or a digital detox. So good luck. Send me your questions.